Hunter x Hunter, character-defining moments. There will be spoilers. Let's go. Killua Zoldyck. Part of the Hunter exam were one-on-one duels, and up until then we didn't know much about Killua. We knew that he was smart, capable, reserved, and that he comes from a family of assassins. What we didn't know is how frighteningly efficient and ruthless he is in combat, and that does come as a surprise. In one of the most renowned scenes from Hunter x Hunter, Killua in one fell swoop, without an ounce of hatred or anger, rips out the heart of his opponent, a mass murderer. The only person more surprised than us viewers was the victim. A brilliantly directed scene, especially the moment when the stunned inmate begs for Killua to give him his heart back, which Killua does, calmly putting the remains of his heart into his outstretched hand as he lays on the ground. Powerful and creepy. As everyone looks shocked, Gon is explaining the situation, and Killua slowly enters the frame from the back, nonplussed, saying, "Tadaima, I'm back," as if nothing exceptional has happened. Leorio reacts the same way as us the viewers, surprised and scared, and Killua never looked the same as he did before. Hisoka motto. There are several character-defining scenes about Hisoka. He is a complex character with complex motivations. If Hisoka wasn't written the way he is, Hunter x Hunter wouldn't be a masterpiece. Scene here is from the second phase of the exam, in the Swamps of Illusion. Hisoka is surrounded by other potential hunters who, thinking they already failed the exam, want to at least kill Hisoka, because they judged that he is not a hunter material. They took it upon themselves to morally judge a person they don't know anything about, in an unfair battle. And it was an unfair battle, but for them, because Hisoka kills them easily. At first glance, this depicts him as a murderer, a ruthless killer, and the show tries to imply that he is the antagonist. But if you think about it, he did act in self-defense, didn't he? Immediately after that, he encounters Leorio and Kurapika, and the show once again tries to imply that he is the villain, because he tries to fight them. But Hisoka never discloses his intentions. Kurapika and Leorio assume that Hisoka wants to kill them. Keyword here is assume. This once again showcases the ingenuity of the show. After dealing quickly with Leorio, where Hisoka does not kill him, Hisoka fights Gon. Gon assumes that he is saving Leorio's life, which is wrong. After Hisoka-Gon duel goes as well as you would expect, a duel between a kid and a master of martial arts go, Hisoka lets Gon go and wishes him the best in life. Not only that, he puts unconscious Leorio on his back and carries him to the goal. The show lied to us that Hisoka is a typical villain, and leaves us wondering, what the hell is Hisoka thinking, and what does he truly want? Gon fricks. There are two important character-defining moments for Gon. The first one is the battle with Hanzo, as the final Hunter exam. Even though much weaker, Gon, in a typical shonen fashion, never gives up. Hunter x Hunter usually avoids typical shonen stereotypes, which is a good thing, but in this occasion it was impossible. Gon acts like Goku. No matter what the situation is, he'll never give up, not even under the threat of death or torture. In this case, his convictions border obsession and insanity, and Gon was lucky that his opponent was Hanzo, an honorable, moral man. The battle would have a lot more depressing outcome if Gon's opponent was someone much more ruthless. A similar moment to this one is when Gon encounters a butler apprentice called Kanari when going to save Killua. Once again, he voluntarily takes the punches, but this time with a different motivation. And once again, if his opponent was someone more brutal, the outcome would be much more depressing. Luckily for Gon, mother of the Zoldycks steps in and stops his sacrifice. A much more serious moment that defines Gon is much later in the story, and it is connected to Pito. This is a far cry from a bright-eyed shonen from the beginning of the story. Here we can clearly see the way Gon developed and grew as a character. He is broken with the trauma and guilt of what happened to Kite. And here, finally, Gon steps out from the Goku behavior pattern. He is seriously considering whether to do two morally dubious things. Whether to sentence to death an innocent civilian, Komugi, by attacking Pito, and whether to listen to his anger and immediately attack and kill Pito, while she is begging him for mercy and the delay of the battle. If there was no Killua there, it was very likely that Gon would listen to his dark side, and with one decision kill a person begging for mercy and a person who did nothing wrong, because people who are wrecked with pain and guilt often do things they usually wouldn't. Even if he decided to take such a drastic step, it would be perfectly understandable, maybe even more interesting than what actually happened. King Meruem, one of the best anime villains, without any doubt. And one of the reasons is Komugi, a weak child he played Gungi with, and he never actually beat her. The depth of Meruem comes from the duality of his personality. He is a mix of a human and an ant. A human as an individual, and an ant as a part of the collective. Two opposing sides clash within him. A desire to be his own person, and his instinct to be just another ant in the anthill. It is impossible for two such drastic instincts to coexist in one person, especially in this scenario, where both instincts are ingrained in him and are a natural part of his personality. It is very likely that Meruem could overcome his human side and become a usual villain that just needs to be beaten. Luckily, the writer decided to make his story much deeper and interesting. There was a long battle within him, which side he should listen to, and that was tearing him apart. The first instinct of a person who is suffering from a conflict is that that conflict should be resolved, erased, or destroyed. The moment mentioned here is exactly that. Meruem had enough, as he could not anymore bear the split in his personality. So he decided to destroy the source of that conflict. He was on his way to Komugi, firm in his intention to kill her, and finally relieve himself of the burden that was psychologically distracting him. As he was opening the doors to her room, he was repeating in his head how much easier his life will be once she is gone, how the conflict within him will disappear with her. But once there, he saw a sight he was not expecting. Komugi was attacked by a bird in her room in the middle of the night for some reason. Meruem, seeing this, does what no one expected, him the least. He kills the bird and saves Komugi, even acting all flustered and worried while taking care of her, calling her an esteemed guest, and chastising her for not asking for help. He cannot understand why is he defending the person he came to kill. Why is he feeling sympathy for this creature that causes the conflict within him? He looks at her and wonders, how can someone be so fragile? And he wonders why can't he go through with the plan he had in mind. This kind of development of a villain is not often seen in anime, and should be recognized as a masterpiece. Meruem rejects his instinct to destroy the source of his conflict that has been bothering and torturing him, and decides to try and find another way to fix the unfixable within himself. That is an irrational decision, because he would never be able to do so. And when do people make irrational decisions that may harm their psychological health? That is when they love someone, either romantically or platonically. And in this scene, Meruem is showing this, albeit unconsciously, and it took him up until the end of his arc to fully understand and grasp this concept. and thus bringing us one of the best villain finales of all anime. The little heart of our ant grew 3 sizes that moment, and he became a human at least for a brief moment. And that is why this scene is one of the most iconic in Hunter x Hunter. That would be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share and subscribe. Follow us on social networks. Check out other videos on our channel. That's it. Bye bye.